Hey everybody, so in this video I'm going to be talking about pretty much the basics on how to read uh, fundamental flowcharts in programming, and we're going to go over like an example on an application, pretty much like the if-else statement, and a program that involves the if statement, the else-if statement, and the else statement all together in one. So to begin with, these are pretty much uh, what the components that pretty much make up a flowchart. So you have these arrows, um, and they're pretty much the flow lines that direct how the program goes. And then you have this oval, or whatever you want to call it. It's the terminal, which pretty much uh, is the starting point of the program and the ending point of the program. You could use it for either or. And then you have this diamond looking shape, and it means a decision. So once you reach this, uh, pretty much so let's say we have the starting point up here, and then you have an input inside, so it goes inside this expression, and based on whether it's true or false, it would go that way. Let's say, for example, if it's false, or it would go this way if it's true. So we call it a terminal because it's somewhere at a point in the program you reach this, and then based on whether the expression is true or false, you would be directed into a different path. Right, I'm sorry, I called it a terminal. It's the decision. So pretty much decides what path you end up going. And then you have this parallelogram shape, and it symbolizes an input or an output. An example would be for an input, or for an input, that would be basically maybe the scan function, like scanf. You want the user to input something, and then the output, like printf. That's, for example, in C, for example. So, and then you have this rectangle, and it's a process. It could include maybe like some, let's say we take an input, and then we want to multiply that input by some factor, and then in this box, that's where the multiplication happens. There's some process that your input undergoes. And then you have the circle. Sometimes you see when you have a couple of arrows joining into one place, you use this node or a circle, and called a joint. Sometimes use it, sometimes not, but for organization purposes. So let's take a look at an example. You have the if-else statement. So here you have the terminal. Like I said, that oval-looking shape signifies that this is the starting point. And then we have the flow line directing us to this decision box, or diamond. So let's say in the if-else statement, we reach the if expression. So if something, based on whether, let's say if it's true, it goes this path, and if it's false, it goes that path. So, and then if it's true, it'll reach some statement. Let's say we have multiple statements in here, and then if it's false, it'll reach this statement as well. A different statement. This could be statement 1. This could be statement 2. Okay, but and then they all reach at the end of the program, no matter what. Let's take a look at this. Another flowchart, a little bit more involving, that has the if statement, the else if, and the else statement. So we have our starting point. We reach the first expression, and this could be our if statement. If it's true, it'll go down here. True, it'll go down here. Do whatever we want the program to do. So this would be some statement. And then after that, it does the job, and then it ends it. But what if it's the case that it's not true? So it'll be directed on this path, false, to reach the second expression, and this could symbolize an else if statement. And it could be true, and it could be false. If it's false, it'll go that way. If it's true, it'll do whatever we ask the program to do, and then end up going back to the end. But if it's false, okay, so if it's false, it could go then to the next expression, and so on. You could have this repeating as many times as you want the program to. Same thing, it could be true or it could be false. If it's true, it'll do what you want it, and then in the end, it'll go to the ending terminal. And then, so this could be another else if. And then eventually, you're going to have to reach the last option, which would be your else statement. So if these are all false, your last option would be here, the else. There's no more true or false. It just has to be true. The executes the statement, and then eventually it's going to go back to the ending terminal. And that's just an example, 2 examples of many different applications that you could resemble with a flowchart. For example, you could also do some for loops, a while, do while. And these apply to many different languages. And maybe by the tone, by the certain words that I used, you could it'll kind of hint to you that I'm focusing on the C programming. For example, scanf. That's terminology used in C programming. But you could apply these flowcharts to any programming language.